Hey there, welcome to Everyday English Pod. We're doing something a little different today. Instead of focusing on a news story or cultural trend, we're going to really dig into a collection of phrases all centered around team management. Think of it as taking a peek inside the toolbox of effective leadership. For you, our listener, this is all about grabbing some, practical language and fresh perspectives that can help you navigate your own team dynamics, whether you're leading the charge or contributing as a key player. We're aiming to unpack these common business English expressions and see what real-world wisdom they hold for anyone working with others to get things done.
That's right. And, we're not just running through a list of things people say. We want to explore the why behind these phrases, what makes them resonate. And more importantly, how can you, in your daily interactions, use these ideas to communicate with more impact and, get better results with your team?
Okay, so the first one we're looking at is we need to leverage our team's diverse skill sets to overcome this challenge. Now, on the surface, that sounds like common sense, but let's really unpack it. What are some specific ways you've seen this idea of leveraging different skills really pay off?
Yeah, it's more than just saying, Sarah's good at marketing and John's good at numbers. It's about actively seeking out those, less obvious talents. I saw a team once facing a really creative roadblock on a new ad campaign. Turns out the lead engineer, who you'd think would be all about technical specs, had a background in improv comedy and brought a whole different level of brainstorming energy to the table. They ended up with a killer concept because they look beyond the usual roles. So for you, it's about maybe taking a moment to think about who on your team has hidden talents or unexpected experiences that could be relevant.
That's a great point, looking beyond the job title. It makes me think about our next phrase. Let's foster an environment where open communication and innovative thinking are encouraged. How do you actually build that kind of atmosphere where people feel safe to throw out those wilder ideas?
Well, that really boils down to psychological safety. People need to feel like they won't be ridiculed or, dismissed for suggesting something that might sound a little out there. One technique I've seen work well is starting brainstorming sessions with a no bad ideas rule. Literally, write it on the board. Encourage quantity over quality in the initial stages. Also, actively solicit input from everyone, even the quieter members of the team. Maybe go around the virtual or physical room and ask for everyone's initial thoughts before opening it up for debate. It signals that everyone's voice is valued.
Right, making sure everyone feels heard. Now, our next phrase touches on putting those skills to work. I'd like to delegate these tasks based on each team member's strengths and areas of expertise. We talk about knowing people's skills. How do you make sure the delegation actually reflects that?
It's about having a clear understanding of what those strengths really are. This might involve having individual conversations with team members about what they enjoy doing, what they feel they're good at. It also means being willing to step outside of traditional roles sometimes. If someone in a more junior position has a real knack for a particular task, giving them that opportunity can be a huge motivator and lead to better results. It's not just about who should do it, based on hierarchy, but who is best suited to do it, really.
Okay, so we've got the right people doing the right things. But how do we know if we're actually heading in the right direction? The next phrase is, we should establish clear KPIs to measure our progress and ensure we're on track to meet our goals. Unquote. KPIs, key performance indicators. Why are these so important? And what are some examples of actionable KPIs a team might use?
Think of KPIs as your team's navigation system. They tell you if you're making headway or, veering off course. The key word you used is actionable. A bad KPI might be something vague like increase customer satisfaction. A good, actionable KPI would be reduce average customer support ticket response time by 15% in the next quarter.
That's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, a SMART goal. For a sales team, it might be the number of qualified leads generated per week. For a software development team, it could be the number of bugs fixed per sprint. The point is, they should be directly tied to your team's objectives and allow you to see, in concrete terms, whether you're winning or learning.
Winning or learning. I like that. Zooming out a bit, the next phrase says, it's crucial that we align our team's objectives with the overall company strategy. How do you make sure the day-to-day work of your team is actually contributing to the bigger picture goals of the organization? Right. This requires consistent communication from leadership about what those overarching strategic goals are and how each team's work fits in. It's not enough to just announce the company strategy once a year. It needs to be a regular part of team meetings and discussions. Team leaders should be able to clearly articulate how the team's KPIs contribute to the company's larger objectives. If your team is working on a project, you should be able to answer the question, how does this help the company achieve its main goals? If you can't answer that, you might be heading in the wrong direction.
Makes total sense. Now, how do you keep a team from getting stagnant? The next phrase is, we need to cultivate a culture of continuous improvement and learning within our team. What are some practical steps to make learning an ongoing part of the team's DNA?
Well, one really effective method is to dedicate time, even if it's just an hour a week, for the team to share what they've learned. This could be from a recent project, a conference they attended, or even an interesting article they read. Encourage experimentation and view mistakes not as failures, but as opportunities to learn and refine your approach. After a project wraps up, conduct a lessons learned session. What went well, what didn't, and what could you do differently next time? Make it a blameless environment where people feel comfortable being honest.
And to really dial in on those improvements, you need feedback. Our next phrase is, let's implement a feedback loop to identify bottlenecks and streamline our processes. How do you make giving and receiving feedback a regular and helpful thing rather than something people dread?
Yeah, that's key. The key is to make it timely and specific. Don't wait until the annual performance review to give feedback. Offer it regularly, both positive and constructive. Frame constructive feedback in a way that focuses on the behavior or the process, not the person. Instead of saying, you're always late with your reports, try to help us stay on schedule. Let's discuss strategies for getting your reports in by the deadline. Also, create multiple channels for feedback, one-on-one conversations, team discussions, and even anonymous surveys can provide different perspectives. And most importantly, make sure you're actually acting on the feedback you receive. If people see that their input leads to positive changes, they'll be more likely to participate actively.
Okay, we know what to improve and we're getting feedback. But with a million things to do, how do you decide what's most important? The next phrase addresses this. We should prioritize tasks based on their impact on our critical path and overall project timeline. Hannah, how do you help a team focus on what truly matters?
This requires a clear understanding of the project's goals and the dependencies between different tasks. Tools like project management software can be incredibly helpful for visualizing the sequence of tasks that directly affects the project completion date. Focus the team's energy on those tasks. Regularly review priorities and be willing to adjust if circumstances change. Communicate clearly to the team why certain tasks are being prioritized over others. It's about making sure everyone understands the potential consequences of delays on the critical path.
And thinking about the long haul, our next phrase is, it's essential to maintain a healthy work-life balance to prevent burnout among team members. This feels especially relevant in today's always-on culture. What are some tangible ways to support work-life balance on a team?
Lead by example is crucial here. If leaders are constantly sending emails late at night and working weekends, it sets an unspoken expectation. Encourage team members to take breaks, use their vacation time, and disconnect when they're not working. Be mindful of workload distribution and try to avoid consistently overloading individuals. Promote flexibility where possible. A team that is rested and has a life outside of work is ultimately going to be more productive and engaged in the long run.
Agreed. Now, to really get a team humming, everyone needs to feel invested. The next phrase is, we need to foster a sense of ownership and accountability within the team for our collective success. How do you cultivate that feeling that everyone's in it together?
Ownership often comes from empowerment. When team members feel like they have a say in how their work is done and that their contributions are valued, they're more likely to take responsibility for the outcome. Clearly define roles and responsibilities, but also encourage collaboration and shared problem solving. Celebrate team successes together and openly discuss challenges as a team. When things go wrong, focus on learning and improvement rather than assigning blame.
Regular communication keeps popping up as a key theme. The next phrase reinforces this. Let's schedule regular check-ins to address any concerns and ensure everyone is on the same page. What's the sweet spot for how often these check-ins should happen and what should they focus on?
Well, the frequency really depends on the project's pace and the team's needs. A fast-paced project might require daily stand-ups, while a longer-term project might benefit from weekly or biweekly check-ins. The focus should be on providing updates, identifying and resolving roadblocks, clarifying priorities, and fostering open communication. Make sure it's a two-way street. Encourage team members to ask questions and voice concerns. These check-ins should be productive and focused, not just status updates for the sake of having a meeting.
And to help the team grow, our next phrase suggests we should create a mentorship program to facilitate knowledge transfer and skill development. What makes a mentorship program really effective?
A good mentorship program has clear goals and structure. It involves carefully matching mentors and mentees based on their skills and development needs. Provide training and guidance for both mentors and mentees on how to make the most of the relationship. Encourage regular meetings and the sharing of experiences, insights, and advice. It's not just about the junior person learning from the senior one. Mentors often gain new perspectives as well.
Investing in people, it's always a good move. Now let's not forget to celebrate the wins. The next phrase reminds us, it's important to recognize and celebrate team achievements to boost morale and motivation. How can we make recognition feel genuine and impactful?
Recognition needs to be specific and timely. Don't just say, good job. Explain what specifically was done well and what positive impact it had. Public acknowledgement in team meetings, a handwritten thank you note, or even a small team celebration can go a long way. Understand what motivates your team members. For some, public praise is great. For others, a quiet acknowledgement might be more appreciated. The key is sincerity.
Keeping information flowing is crucial for those achievements to happen. The next phrase is, we need to establish clear communication channels to ensure information flows smoothly within the team. What are some examples of communication channels, and how do you decide which one to use for what?
Yeah, you've got a whole spectrum, right? From email for more formal announcements and documentation, to instant messaging for quick questions and updates, to project management platforms for task tracking and file sharing, to video conferencing for meetings and more in-depth discussions. The key is to have clear guidelines on which channel to use for different types of communication. This avoids overwhelming inboxes and ensures that critical information doesn't get lost. For example, urgent issues might warrant a phone call or a direct message, while a project update could be shared via email or a project management tool.
Looking inward to improve, our next phrase suggests, let's conduct a SWOT analysis to identify areas for improvement and capitalize on our strengths. For someone who hasn't done one before, how does a team effectively conduct a SWOT analysis?
Okay, SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Gather the team together and brainstorm in each of these 4 areas. Be honest and critical. What does the team do really well? Where could it improve? What external opportunities could you leverage? What potential threats do you need to be aware of? Write everything down. Then, as a team, analyze the results. How can you build on your strengths? How can you address your weaknesses? How can you capitalize on opportunities and mitigate threats? It's a valuable exercise in self-reflection and strategic planning.
Getting different viewpoints can be really helpful. Our next phrase is, we should implement a system of peer reviews to enhance collaboration and knowledge sharing. What are the benefits of having team members review each other's work?
Peer reviews can provide fresh perspectives and identify blind spots that the individual might have missed. It also fosters a sense of shared responsibility for the quality of the work. When you know your colleagues will be reviewing your work, you tend to put in a little extra effort. Plus, the reviewer often learns something new in the process as well. For it to work well, establish clear guidelines for providing constructive feedback and create a culture where feedback is seen as a positive tool for growth, not personal criticism.
Setting ourselves up for success with realistic expectations is key. Our next phrase highlights this. It's crucial to set realistic deadlines and manage expectations to maintain team productivity. Opening. What are some common mistakes people make when setting deadlines?
Underestimating the time and resources required is a big one. Another is not factoring in potential roadblocks or dependencies on other teams or individuals. It's also important to communicate deadlines clearly and get buy-in from the team. Instead of just dictating a deadline, discuss it with the team, get their input on how long tasks might realistically take, and factor in buffer time for unexpected issues. Managing expectations also means keeping stakeholders informed if deadlines need to be adjusted and explaining why.
And when those unexpected issues pop up, we need to be prepared. The next phrase suggests we need to create a risk management plan to anticipate and mitigate potential roadblocks. How detailed should this plan be?
It doesn't have to be a massive document, but it should identify the key potential risks to a project or team goal. For each identified risk, assess the likelihood of it happening and the potential impact if it does. Then, outline strategies for either preventing the risk from occurring or mitigating its impact if it does. For example, if a key team member is going on leave, a risk mitigation strategy might be to cross-train other team members on their essential tasks. Regularly review and update your risk management plan as circumstances change.
Recognizing individual effort within the team is also really important. Our next phrase points out, let's establish a system for recognizing and rewarding individual contributions to team success. How can we make these rewards meaningful for different people?
Right, because what motivates one person might not motivate another. Take the time to understand your team members' individual preferences. For some, public praise and acknowledgement are highly valued. For others, it might be an opportunity for professional development, a chance to lead a new project, or even a small bonus or gift card. The key is to be fair and consistent in your recognition and to tie it directly to specific contributions that help the team achieve its goals.
To get new ideas and broaden our thinking, the next phrase encourages, we should encourage cross-functional collaboration to broaden our perspective and drive innovation. What are some ways to facilitate effective collaboration between different teams or departments?
Create opportunities for teams to work together on joint projects or initiatives. Establish shared goals and metrics that require collaboration to achieve. Encourage regular communication and information sharing between teams. This could involve joint meetings, shared online platforms, or even informal social events that bring people from different teams together. Breaking down silos and fostering understanding of different perspectives can lead to more creative and effective solutions.
Building a strong internal foundation is essential. Our next phrase emphasizes, it's important to foster a culture of trust and transparency to promote open dialogue within the team. How do you go about cultivating that kind of trusting environment?
Trust is built over time through consistent actions and open communication. Be honest and transparent with your team about decisions and challenges. Follow through on your commitments. Create a safe space where team members feel comfortable sharing their ideas and concerns without fear of judgment or reprisal. Actively listen to what they have to say and demonstrate that their input is valued. When mistakes happen, focus on learning rather than blame.
Looking towards the future, our next phrase advises, we need to develop a succession plan to ensure continuity and smooth transitions in leadership roles. Why is it so important to think about who might step up in the future?
Well, succession planning ensures that you have qualified individuals ready to take on leadership responsibilities when the need arises, whether due to promotions, retirements, or other departures. This minimizes disruption to the team's work and ensures a smooth transition. It also provides development opportunities for high-potential team members, signaling that you're invested in their growth and future within the organization.
To get a really well-rounded view of performance, the next phrase suggests, let's implement a 360-degree feedback system to provide comprehensive insights for team development. What are the pros and cons of this kind of feedback?
Okay, 360-degree feedback gathers input from a variety of sources, including supervisors, peers, and direct reports. This can provide a more holistic view of an individual's strengths and development areas compared to feedback solely from a manager. That's a big pro. However, it's crucial to have a well-defined process in place, ensure anonymity to encourage honest feedback, and provide training on how to give and receive this type of feedback constructively. It's also important to focus on development rather than just evaluation that can be a potential con if not handled well.
Team building activities, sometimes they feel a little forced, but our next phrase reminds us, we should create opportunities for team building activities to strengthen interpersonal relationships. What kinds of activities are actually effective?
Yeah, the most effective team-building activities are those that encourage collaboration, communication, and shared experiences in a relaxed and informal setting. This could be anything from a team lunch or happy hour to a volunteer event or an escape room challenge. The key is to choose activities that appeal to a range of personalities and that provide opportunities for team members to interact in ways they might not during their regular work. The goal is to build stronger bonds and improve team cohesion.
And when those bonds get a little strained, we need a plan for resolution. The next phrase says, it's essential to establish a clear escalation process for resolving conflicts within the team. Why is a defined process so important?
A clear escalation process provides a structured way to address disagreements before they escalate and negatively impact team dynamics and productivity. It ensures that everyone knows who to go to and what steps will be taken if a conflict arises that they can't resolve themselves. This can help to prevent small disagreements from turning into major issues and fosters a sense of fairness and trust within the team.
Keeping our best people around is crucial. Our next phrase addresses this. We need to develop a talent retention strategy to maintain a high-performing and motivated team. What are some key elements of a good retention strategy?
A strong retention strategy involves a multifaceted approach. It includes offering competitive compensation and benefits, providing opportunities for professional growth and development, fostering a positive and supportive work environment, recognizing and valuing employee contributions, and ensuring a healthy work-life balance. Regularly check in with your team members to understand their needs and address any concerns they might have.
To build on past experiences, the next phrase suggests, let's create a knowledge base to document best practices and lessons learned from past projects. How can a well-maintained knowledge base benefit a team?
A knowledge base acts as a central repository of valuable information, allowing the team to learn from past successes and mistakes, avoid reinventing the wheel, and onboard new members more efficiently. It can include templates, project reports, postmortem analyses, and guides to best practices. Regularly updating and making this resource easily accessible to everyone on the team can significantly improve efficiency and consistency.
To really understand our output, the next phrase advises we should implement a system for tracking and analyzing team productivity metrics. What kind of metrics can give you meaningful insights into how the team is doing?
The specific metrics will depend on the nature of the team's work, of course, but they could include things like project completion rates, the quality of deliverables, efficiency metrics like output per hour, customer satisfaction scores, and even employee engagement levels. The key is to choose metrics that are relevant to your team's goals and that provide actionable data that you can use to identify areas for improvement.
Investing in skills is always worthwhile. The next phrase highlights, it's crucial to provide regular training and development opportunities to enhance team capabilities. What are some different ways to offer these opportunities?
This can range from formal training programs and workshops to online courses, mentorship opportunities, job shadowing, and even sending team members to industry conferences. The key is to identify the skills gaps within the team and provide relevant and timely development opportunities that align with both individual career goals and team needs.
Clear roles are the foundation of smooth teamwork. Our next phrase states, we need to establish clear roles and responsibilities to avoid duplication of effort and confusion. How detailed should these role definitions be?
They should clearly outline the primary responsibilities, accountabilities, and reporting structures for each team member. This helps to avoid overlap, ensures that all necessary tasks are covered, and provides clarity on who is responsible for what. While you don't need to micromanage every single task, a clear understanding of who owns which areas is essential for effective collaboration and accountability.
To make sure we're serving our customers well, the next phrase suggests, let's implement a system for gathering and acting upon customer feedback to improve our services. How can we make sure we're really listening to what our customers are telling us?
This involves actively seeking out customer feedback through surveys, interviews, online reviews, and social media monitoring. But the crucial part is what you do with that feedback. Analyze it to identify trends and pain points, share it with the team, and then actually take action to address the issues and improve your products or services based on what you've learned. Closing the loop with customers and letting them know that their feedback has been heard and acted upon is also important for building loyalty.
Staying ahead often means embracing new technologies. Our next phrase points out, we should create a roadmap for technological adoption to stay competitive in our industry. Why is it important to plan for incorporating new tech?
Because technology is constantly evolving, right? And staying competitive often requires adopting new tools and systems that can improve efficiency, streamline processes, and enable innovation. A technology roadmap helps you anticipate future technological trends, evaluate potential new technologies, and plan for their implementation in a way that aligns with your team's and the company's overall strategy. It prevents you from falling behind and allows you to leverage technology to gain a competitive advantage.
To keep the creative juices flowing, our next phrase encourages, it's important to foster a culture of innovation by encouraging and rewarding creative problem solving. What are some practical ways to encourage innovative thinking on a team?
Encourage brainstorming sessions where all ideas are welcome, provide dedicated time for experimentation and exploration, recognize and reward team members for innovative ideas and solutions, and create a safe space where it's okay to take risks and learn from failures. Challenge the status quo and encourage your team to think outside the box. Sometimes, the best ideas come from unexpected places.
Welcoming new team members smoothly is key. Our next phrase advises, we need to develop a comprehensive onboarding process to integrate new team members effectively. What are some must-have elements of a good onboarding experience?
A comprehensive onboarding process should start even before the new hire's first day. It should include providing them with essential information about the company and their role, introducing them to their team members and key stakeholders, providing clear expectations and goals, offering the necessary training and resources, and assigning a buddy or mentor for ongoing support. The goal is to make new hires feel welcomed, informed, and set up for success from day one.
Regular performance check-ins are vital. Our next phrase states, let's establish a system for regular performance reviews and goal-setting sessions. What are the key benefits of having these formal discussions?
Regular performance reviews provide a structured opportunity for managers to give constructive feedback, discuss progress towards goals, identify areas for development, and align individual contributions with team and company objectives. Goal-setting sessions ensure that everyone understands what's expected of them and how their work contributes to the bigger picture. These conversations are essential for employee growth, motivation, and overall team performance.
To stay organized on projects, the next phrase suggests we should implement a project management tool to enhance coordination and track progress effectively. What are some of the advantages of using project management software?
Project management tools can significantly improve team collaboration, task management, scheduling, resource allocation, and overall project visibility. They provide a central platform for communication, file sharing, progress tracking, and identifying potential roadblocks early on. This can lead to more efficient workflows, better communication, and ultimately more successful project outcomes.
Keeping external stakeholders in the loop is also crucial. Our next phrase highlights, it's crucial to maintain open lines of communication with stakeholders to manage expectations. Why is it so important to keep stakeholders informed?
Effective stakeholder communication builds trust and ensures that expectations are aligned. Keeping stakeholders informed about project progress, potential risks, and any changes in plans allows you to address concerns proactively and avoid surprises. This helps to maintain their support and ensures that everyone is on the same page regarding goals and timelines.
The environment we work in can have a big impact. Our next phrase points out, we need to create a collaborative workspace that fosters creativity and improves team dynamics. What are some features of a good collaborative workspace, whether physical or virtual?
A good collaborative workspace, whether it's a physical office or a virtual environment, should facilitate easy communication, encourage interaction, and provide access to the tools and resources the team needs. This could include flexible meeting spaces, comfortable breakout areas, shared online platforms, and clear guidelines for virtual communication and collaboration. The goal is to create an environment where team members feel connected, inspired, and able to work together effectively.
With more teams working remotely, our next phrase is particularly relevant. Let's develop a strategy for effectively managing remote team members and ensuring their engagement. What are some key considerations for leading distributed teams?
Managing remote teams requires a conscious effort to maintain communication and connection. This includes establishing clear communication protocols, utilizing collaboration tools effectively, fostering a sense of team belonging through virtual social events and regular check-ins, focusing on outcomes rather than just physical presence, and providing flexibility and support for remote work arrangements. Trust and clear expectations are paramount.
Addressing problems early can prevent bigger headaches later. Our next phrase advises, we should establish a system for recognizing and addressing potential conflicts early on. Why is it so important to nip conflict in the bud?
Because early intervention can prevent conflicts from escalating, damaging team relationships, and negatively impacting productivity. It involves creating a culture where team members feel comfortable raising concerns, providing training on conflict resolution skills, and having a clear process in place for addressing disagreements promptly and constructively. The goal is to resolve issues before they become major problems.
Cultivating a positive mindset is key to overcoming challenges. Our next phrase states, it's important to cultivate a growth mindset within the team to embrace challenges and learn from failures. How do you encourage this kind of mindset?
Encourage a focus on learning and development rather than just focusing on results. Reframe failures as learning opportunities and encourage experimentation and risk-taking. Provide feedback that emphasizes effort and progress rather than just innate talent. Celebrate learning and growth and create a culture where it's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them.
Managing resources wisely is always important. Our next phrase highlights, we need to implement a system for tracking and managing team expenses and resources efficiently. Why is good resource management so crucial?
Well, efficient resource management ensures that the team has the necessary tools, budget, and personnel to achieve its goals without waste or overspending. It involves careful planning, monitoring of resource utilization, and accountability for expenses. Effective resource management maximizes productivity and ensures that projects stay within budget.
To help individuals grow and contribute more strategically, our next phrase suggests, let's create opportunities for team members to showcase their skills and contribute to strategic initiatives. How can we provide these platforms?
This could involve assigning stretch assignments that challenge them to develop new skills, encouraging participation in cross-functional projects where they can share their expertise with a wider audience, providing opportunities to present their work to leadership, and recognizing their contributions to strategic goals. Giving team members a chance to shine and contribute to higher-level initiatives can be highly motivating and can also uncover hidden talents.
Being prepared for the unexpected is just good practice. Our next phrase advises, we should develop a crisis management plan to ensure the team can respond effectively to unforeseen challenges. What are the essential components of a solid crisis plan?
A crisis management plan should identify potential crises that could impact the team or organization, outline clear communication protocols for keeping stakeholders informed, define roles and responsibilities during a crisis, and establish procedures for responding effectively and minimizing negative impact. It should also include a plan for post-crisis review and learning.
Ethical behavior is the bedrock of any good team. Our next phrase emphasizes, it's crucial to foster a culture of ethical decision-making and integrity within the team. How do you promote these values?
This starts with clear communication of ethical standards and expectations, leading by example from leadership, providing training on ethical decision-making, and creating a culture where ethical behavior is valued and rewarded and unethical behavior is not tolerated. Encourage open discussion of ethical dilemmas and provide resources for team members to seek guidance when facing difficult decisions.
For teams working remotely, specific guidelines are helpful. Our next phrase is, we need to establish clear guidelines for remote work to maintain productivity and work-life balance. What kind of guidelines are beneficial?
This could include guidelines on communication expectations like response times, preferred channels, availability during work hours, security protocols for accessing company data remotely, performance measurement based on outcomes, and tips and resources for maintaining a healthy work-life balance while working from home. Clarity in these areas helps to ensure productivity and well-being for remote team members.
To tap into the collective intelligence of the team, our next phrase suggests, let's implement a system for capturing and evaluating innovative ideas from team members. How can we encourage and assess these ideas effectively?
This can involve setting up suggestion boxes, physical or virtual, hosting innovation challenges or hackathons, creating dedicated platforms for idea submission, and establishing a clear and transparent process for reviewing and evaluating ideas based on criteria like potential impact, feasibility, and alignment with strategic goals. It's important to provide feedback on all submitted ideas, even if they're not implemented.
Supporting newer team members is an investment in the future. Our next phrase advises, we should create a mentoring program to support the professional development of junior team members. What are the specific advantages for those just starting out?
Mentoring can provide junior team members with invaluable guidance, support, and advice from more experienced colleagues. It can help them develop their skills, build their professional network, understand the company culture, and navigate their career path more effectively. Mentors can share their experiences, offer insights, and provide encouragement, helping junior team members to grow and succeed.
Protecting sensitive information is non-negotiable. Our next phrase highlights, it's important to establish clear protocols for data security and confidentiality within the team. Why are these protocols so critical?
These protocols are essential for protecting sensitive company data, client information, and intellectual property. They help to maintain trust, comply with legal and regulatory requirements, and prevent data breaches or leaks that could have serious consequences. These protocols should cover areas like password management, data storage, access control, and guidelines for sharing information both internally and externally.
And finally, with today's diverse workforces, our last specific phrase is key. We need to develop strategies for effectively managing and motivating a multi-generational workforce. What are some of the nuances of leading teams with members from different age groups?
Right. Managing a multi-generational workforce requires understanding that different generations may have different values, communication styles, and career goals. Tailor your communication approaches to be inclusive, provide diverse learning and development opportunities that appeal to different age groups, offer flexible work arrangements where possible, and foster a culture of mutual respect and understanding where everyone feels valued for their unique contributions and perspectives.
Now, beyond these 50 phrases, the resource we looked at also offered a deeper dive with even more nuanced expressions. Phrases that touch on learning from past mistakes, balancing short-term and long-term goals, the ongoing value of professional development, more insights into cross-functional collaboration, thinking about workflow restructuring, the importance of seeking external input,
Right.
identifying the true root causes of problems, how to address difficult issues directly, recognizing truly exceptional performance, acknowledging that dedication and teamwork are often rare and valuable,
Important stuff.
offering consistent support to team members, the importance of making timely decisions, the significant impact of implementing changes quickly, the absolute necessity of maintaining open communication in all circumstances,
Absolutely.
how to adapt strategies when facing challenging markets, learning from past oversights and mistakes, the non-negotiable need for confidentiality, the value of consistent high performance, the importance of proactive problem solving, diversifying approaches to mitigate risks effectively, having confidence in the team's ability to meet tight deadlines, the importance of maintaining a sustainable work pace,
Commercial.
to avoid burnout, staying ahead of market trends through continuous innovation, ensuring everyone is truly aligned on project objectives and timelines, actively seizing opportunities when they arise, the danger of becoming complacent after successes, the importance of giving direct and honest feedback, fostering creative problem solving, the necessity of strategic thinking, actively capitalizing on favorable market opportunities,
Right.
consistently raising performance standards, the importance of thoroughness in efforts to improve customer satisfaction, being careful to retain valuable aspects of current processes when making changes.
Yeah, that balance.
The need for thorough preparation, always maintaining focus on overarching goals, learning valuable lessons from setbacks, the importance of strategically sequencing actions, staying constantly informed about relevant industry trends, making tough decisions about resource allocation, the critical importance of collective effort for urgent deadlines, the value of learning from best practices, consistently acknowledging contributions,
Always important.
the need to gather sufficient data before decisions, proactively seeking new market opportunities, ensuring alignment with client expectations, the necessity of an all-out effort for critical launches, balancing ambition with realism, strategic diversification, and the ongoing need for continuous innovation.
It's a really comprehensive look at the language of effective team leadership, isn't it?
It is, and I think what those additional phrases really underscore is that effective key management isn't just about applying a few basic principles. It's an ongoing process of learning, adapting, and refining your approach based on experience and the specific context of your team and your goals. It highlights the more nuanced aspects of leadership that can really make a difference between a good team and a truly high-performing one. Absolutely. So, for you, the listener, this collection of phrases really does provide a powerful toolkit for thinking about and talking about team management. Consider how you might incorporate some of these concepts and this language into your own interactions. Being able to articulate these ideas clearly demonstrates a real understanding of what it takes to build and lead effective teams.
And that brings us to a final thought for you. Think about the specific team dynamics or challenges you're currently navigating. As you've listened to us explore these phrases, which ones really stood out to you? Which ones might offer a new way of thinking about those challenges and perhaps even suggest some practical steps you could take?
Some great food for thought. Thanks for diving into this with Everyday English Pod.